Hello everybody, Dylan Geddes here in our old Iron Forge, and today, or should I start off by saying yesterday, I did a little oopsie. If you haven't seen the short video that I posted yesterday, I broke my tongs. I was making a whole bunch of these fellas. J-hooks. Whole bunch of them. I have, well, easier to show you. I have a whole pile. It's a little messy, I know, but when you're preparing for a show, things get a little messy. Now, due to unfortunate circumstances that I will not mention in the video, I'm no longer able to attend said show, which is fine. I wish they were for better reasons, but I can complain about a lot of things in life. Might as well not complain about a missed opportunity because it is not an opportunity that I personally caused an issue with. So if I can't control it, I'm not going to worry about it. But today is going to be, I'm going to forge a new pair of tongs. I'm going to forge the rivet myself. We're going to be making it out of some 1/2-inch square because I have that lying around. So let me get this heated up. And let's get a pair of tongs forged, shall we? We're going to start off forging the jaws. And we're going to see how much material that leaves us. And yeah, we'll go from there. Alright. So, over the face. Okay with it spreading out a little bit. And now from here, rotate to the left over the end. A lot of people like to go at a 45 to help facilitate the opening and the closing of the jaws. Maybe I'll do that. I find that whenever I do that, it causes a pretty radical step up in here. So I'm not too sure if I want to do that necessarily or just keep it at a 90. I've seen both ways, and I found that the 90 works for me pretty well. So if you find that the 45 works well for you, do that. That's what I see a lot of people do. I'm gonna stick mine at a 90. Like I said, we're working both at the same time. Not too bad. All right, like I said, go into the left. Match it up. Not too bad. Needs to be a little thinner. We're looking for about half the thickness of the bar each time we do. So you can see this one's probably a little over half. Flip it again. We're gonna do a little bit more on this side, and then we're gonna flip it over again right here. Isolate that, and that'll make our rain. All right, we're gonna work this a little bit more. To get that nice half thickness. Then we're going to rotate once again. Keep working it back and forth just to eliminate any cold shuts. Oh, and I should probably also mention, while you're working this, it's almost guaranteed that this is going to kind of get tweaked a little bit. Don't worry too much about that. We'll tweak everything and fit everything at the very end. So we're going to get this flattened out. So we're at 3/4. I'm sorry if you can't really see this very well. Here, I'm gonna do that one more time and I'll hopefully get you a better view. So I'm going off of the 1-inch mark, just because it's right there. You can see this one is a smidgen bigger than the other one, but not by too much. Not terrible. Not great, not bad. Alright, hopefully the other one's heated up. Radio. So we're just gonna lay this guy on the anvil. I'm gonna work around you here. Set this there and pray. Ow, that hurts. Nice. Okay, so what that does for us is it gets it nice and even and straight while we have everything open. And once we get this thing closed up, get a rivet through it, and get it together, then that will sit nice into there, and we can continue working around it that way. I am also going to try to help us out a little bit later. I'll show you that in a second. So we're going to go over the edge. Just knock those corners down a little bit. We don't want much. That's going to be it, actually. I'm going to go in there with a rounding hammer real quick, and we're going to spread out the plate here. Okay, so let me talk a little bit about tong anatomy real quick, so that way you guys understand what I'm talking about here. Tonking about here. That's such a bad. That was terrible. This here is called the jaw. Right in here, this is the jaw. This here is the hinge plate. And these are the reins, right? So you got jaw, hinge plate, reins, right? So the reins are honestly what takes the most amount of time on tongs like this. Just drawing them out takes a while. So we're gonna flatten out the hinge plate a little bit just to widen this a smidgen, just to make sure that we have enough meat there for the rivet. Yeah, so that's what we'll do. I'll get the corners knocked off the other one. We'll get this heated up, and we'll pound the rivet through, hopefully. We'll need that later. Rounding hammer. There we go. Not too shabby. That just gives us a lot more meat there for later applications. Doing my best not to thin it too much right here, because we learned the hard way what that does. Looking a little thin there. Yay. So we'll get this marked out for the rivet. Do that right now. I'm going to be entirely honest with you. I'm gonna eyeball the crap out of it. Is this gonna be a mistake? Theoretically. If you believe in such foolish things, which I do. This flipped over. Oh, golly. I'm gonna have to do something like this, which is just awkward for everybody involved. That's okay. There you go. Oh, golly. This isn't the most awkward thing I've done in the shop, but it's definitely close. There we go. Now we just gotta straighten everything out. I think I drifted the whole of the last one a little bit, so we're gonna just kind of do the same thing here. Whoa, what the heck was that? Oh, sugar. Ta-da! Looks like we need to thin it out by the reins right here. So we'll go ahead and do that. So we're just gonna thin it out. Right there. Now I'm gonna go at an angle. Try to round these out here. If you're wondering what that is, it is my phone. See how those are rounded now? A little too round up in there, but pretty good there. Now you'll notice that they're completely different sizes. But the holes line up with that, but the plate is way thicker. And this is also longer. Oh well. Okay, that's silly of me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna get the reins marked out, same fashion. Just like so. Up, up. We're gonna go get that cut. Here, you wanna see me cut it? Why not? I'll let you see once. Don't tell anybody, okay? So here's the secret technique, right? So you get this guy clamped down in your vise. You want it not too close to the vise. You want it like 2 or 3 inches away, right? And then here's where the technique comes into play. Gotta get you around the magical rope. So you get your giant ass fucking hacksaw out. And just like that, it's like magic. It's cut within seconds. I mean, you can't really go much worse than that, you know what I mean? Now, if you don't have one of these, I would talk to your local artificer if they understand basics of You know, the mending spell, it's going to be a little opposite of that, you know what I mean? Mending mixed with probably shatter, and they'll be able to whip you up a nice magical hacksaw that just kind of eats right through the metal. If you go to them and they offer you a heat metal spell, you don't want that. This actually gets through the metal without heating it up too much. That's the benefit of it. So if they offer you a heat metal version of cutting, you as a blacksmith, you already know how to do that. So don't listen to that person. Try to find you something else that probably, you know, they might only be level 3 snake oil salesman type deal. Don't listen to them. Alrighty, so now that we got secrets out of the way, these may look a little short, and I would ask that you don't judge on the length of it, as I am quite short myself. This is actually going to be drawn out, and these are going to be drawn out quite a bit. So we're going to go ahead and get these in the fire. When you're drawing out the reins of a tong, remember, let's go over it again. You got the jaw, you got the hinge plate, and you got the rein. So think of it like the handle, rein, whatever. So we're gonna be drawing these out probably to about this thickness for most of it, and then thinning it out as we go, leaving a little end for just for a little feeler, so you know where the end of your tongs are. It's also an aesthetic choice. So yeah, we're gonna be thinning these out, and when you do this, you want to do it at a very high heat over the horn of your anvil. It's going to be nice and aggressive, longitudinal type drawing out. You want it to be lengthened, not widened, so you're going to be drawing it out like so. A little tip that I've learned over the years, not only over the horn but also the anvil itself, is when you're hammering, move the material, don't move your hammer, right? Same thing goes for over the horn or over the face of your anvil. You're hammering here, move the piece, don't move your hammer, because if you want to hammer off here at an angle, hammer there, hammer there, hammer there, hammer there, hammer there, and then keep that nice and flat right on the face, bop, 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 so that way it gives you a lot more control over it. You know, blacksmithing is a two-hand operation, and you don't want to fall into the idea of only using your hammer hand, setting this here, moving this around, because then all of a sudden you strike here and there's a giant flat like line in your piece, and you don't want that. All right, like I said, nice high heat. Move your piece. All right, go back for more heat. It might look hot enough, but it starts to really stop moving on you. Right on. Whew. So it's at this point here that I'm actually going to take it over the face of the anvil. I'm just going to pray. Worst case scenario, I got to do a voiceover, I guess. Ooh-ah! So now we're going to go over the face of the anvil, get another heat. And get to crack it. So we're just going to go through. Right on. Still recording? Yeah. Not too shabby. We're gonna go through, knock down the edges, and then we're gonna put our feelers on. All right, this long heat. Just gonna go through and knock down all these corners. There we go. Forged it. Corkscrewed a little bit on me. That stinks. Alright, so the way that we're going to do this, I'm going to forge this just a little bit, just to straighten everything out. And then with the plate facing us, I'm going to go over the edge of the anvil. And just give it a little nub. Nothing fancy. Done. So that's one half of our tongs just about done. I am going to work on the other one off camera because I do not have that much SIM card room to do that once again. Went from I want it hotter to now it's too hot. Gonna heat this up. We're gonna heat this up and we're gonna tweak things around. Now, like we said, the hinge plate's a little off, which kind of bums me out a little bit, but that's okay. I gotta tweak the jaws so that way they're nice and in line. So I'm gonna heat this whole end up, move these handles so that way they're in line, move the jaws so that way they're in line, and then move this around a lot to make sure that it stays nice and mobile where currently it is not. So we're just gonna bend everything around. I wonder why it's clicking like that. I have ratcheting tongs. What do you have? Nothing. Just kidding. So now we're gonna work on these jaws. Just gonna get that piece of 3/8 square, wherever that ran off to, in here. We're just gonna take this. We're gonna get it inside the jaws here, and we're gonna wrap it around.